Good afternoon and welcome back. This is Coach Reed. Last time we met, we discussed the pros and cons of a low carbohydrate eating plan. Today, we're going to discuss the power of protein. The other day, one of my student athletes emailed me a question. I want to lift more weights and get stronger. Do I need protein in my diet to help with muscle growth? Also, what is the best time to take in protein? So he's here today to discuss the power of protein. Good afternoon, Bill, and thanks for coming over to the office. We don't get to talk that much about nutrition, so I was really glad you emailed me those questions. However, let me just start today by saying that it's always best to get the complete nutrition advice from a registered nutritionist or dietitian. However, I can certainly share with you some of the research I've done in preparation for this meeting in an effort to help you answer your own questions. Let's look at protein in the following order. First, let's discuss background history on protein usage. We'll look at protein metabolism, different types of protein and the benefits of each, and what's the best way to promote protein synthesis, to getting the protein into the cells. Finally, we'll talk about nutrient timing and the theory of that post-exercise window. Peter Lemon, in 1998, wrote a paper which discussed the history of protein. Back in the 19th century, athletes who believed in consuming high diets of protein thought if they ate meat from strong animals, it would make them strong. For most of the 20th century, however, nutritionalists felt exercise had no effect on protein needs. Even as early as the 1970s, research has found mixed results. The protein needs due to exercise should never exceed the recommended daily allowance, which was based on a sedentary lifestyle. In fact, they felt too much protein could be dangerous. Protein is made up of polymers consisting of 20 amino acids, 8 essential amino acids which must be obtained through the diet, and 12 non-essential amino acids which is synthesized from the body. Protein serves many purposes, but primary to your question is that protein builds or helps to maintain strength and integrity of muscle and tissue. As for protein requirements, we should always strive to maintain a protein equilibrium in the body. Two common methods to determine protein needs is nitrogen balance and protein kinetics. Exercise does affect amino acid oxidation. Therefore, exercise would increase protein requirements. However, protein requirements differ according to exercise. Lemon's 1998 paper suggests that endurance training exercises or endurance events, the athlete would need 1.2 to 1.4 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. Athletes experiencing resistance training exercises or power events need a little bit more, 1.6 to 1.7 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. There's current research certainly to support protein supplementation. Cermak et al. In 2012 reviewed a meta-analysis of 22 randomized controlled trials. They found protein supplementation had positive effects on fat-free mass and 1 rep max leg press strength, concluding that protein supplementation increases muscle mass and strength gains in resistance type training. Let's look at the different proteins and what their benefits are. Starting out with whey protein. It's fast absorbing, easy to mix with water, and provides about 20 to 25 grams per serving. It is the gold standard in protein supplementation due to the anabolic effect on muscle growth. It contains the perfect combination of amino acids and has shown a rapid utilization capacity for maximum protein bioavailability. Soy protein is the only plant-based protein considered to be a high-quality protein, with all the essential amino acids and ratios needed to support growth and development. Soy is 30% carbohydrates, 38% protein, and 18% oils. It contains 9 essential amino acids in the perfect ratio. While vegan-based, it certainly can complement whey protein as well. Casein protein is another type of protein. For athletes that are on a calorie restriction or dieting, casein protein can still promote greater muscle retention in a calorie-restricted environment. It's higher in calcium content, so that promotes fat and energy usage. Casein protein also helps accomplish both goals of a high calcium intake and protein, maximizing fat loss benefits. It has a slower synthesis, so I would suggest if you do use casein protein, you take it just before bed. It is certainly considered a high-quality protein source. So what is protein synthesis, bioavailability? What does that all mean? Protein is absorbed through the liver into the bloodstream into the cells. So Figueredo and Cameron Smith in 2013 concluded that protein combined with carbohydrates could also improve protein synthesis because of insulin. They also determined the influence of amino acids, predominantly leucine, which affects protein synthesis as well. Stark et al. In 2012 looked at protein sources with carbohydrates and increased lean body mass more than protein alone. And Berardi and his fellow researchers in 2006 also found that carbohydrates plus protein supplements taken early after exercise did enhance glycogen resynthesis versus just a standalone carbohydrate or protein. So powder or whole foods. Stark et al. Again in 2012 compared skim milk versus soy protein versus a carbohydrate electrolyte drink. Skim milk won out as having a higher bioavailability than soy. The carboelectrolyte mix against chocolate milk found no significant difference between the two in the respective gains. The conclusion being that skim milk was better than soy protein mix, although the carbohydrate drink matched the chocolate milk in benefits of recovery. Finally, your question about nutrient timing. This is a good question, but the answers are certainly not conclusive. Again, with Stark's research in 2012, he found no differences in groups based on the timing of supplementation. Hoffman in 2010 found no short-term improvement in muscle recovery, but recovery did improve after 24 to 40 and 48 hours respectively. Aragon and Schoenfeld in 2013 cited many research studies with mixed results. Rasmussen in 2002 found no benefit in taking protein immediately after exercise. Levenhagen in 2001 found benefits in taking protein shortly after exercise. Tipton in 2007 found no benefits in taking protein shortly after exercise. Again, the answers are still inconclusive. The limitations of that research, however, were there. Aragon pointed out several limitations with the current nutrient timing research. There were no long-term trials. The different groups did not match protein intake. Many of these individuals in the study were untrained athletes. The measurements were disparate. There was a lack of a control group, and oftentimes the research was of small sample sizes. So to conclude your questions, protein does rebuild muscle and tissue damage during exercise. Protein intakes of between 1.4 and 2.0 is safe and certainly not detrimental to kidney function. RDA recommendations were based on a sedentary lifestyle. Athletes need more protein. There are many types of protein. Whey, soy, and casein were three that we just talked about. Protein intake can come through powders or can also be met through a diet. For example, tuna, eggs, yogurt, cottage cheese, and high-protein meats. Remember your quality because the effects of amino acid bioavailability is the biggest indicator of success. Finally, protein is not a cure for everything. Aragon found no benefits in protein supplement immediately following exercise for muscle soreness or immediate muscle recovery. The final conclusion was that time heals all wounds. And also that there was no conclusive evidence for or against, or even how big that anabolic window of opportunity was there. Thanks, Bill, for coming by. I hope you've got some information now so that you can answer your own questions.